What goes on, guys? We're back here again with yet another review, and today we're going to be taking a look at my next Aliexpress haul. I believe this is episode 3 of this series, and it's not a huge one, but it's definitely some things I wanted to talk about. As you can see, it may have not gone the best, but there is some really good stuff here, so let's go ahead, jump into it. So, let's start with Godzilla. This is the one I'm most excited for. Get the -1 logo on there. Great movie. Very, very happy to see this stuff. I can't read any of that. If you can, that's impressive. There it is. The box looks pretty authentic. I mean, I know it's not, but yeah, let's go ahead and pop this guy open. So getting this Godzilla out of the packaging, yet again, I am pleasantly surprised with the quality of this knockoff. It is pretty damn good, aside from one very big issue. I'm missing a toe, dude. What the hell? I don't want to have to order another one and go through that whole hassle. It's not that big a deal, but I just don't feel like doing that. So I'm probably just gonna spread the toes like that and have them posed on the shelf this way, so you can't really see it. But otherwise, this thing is pretty awesome. This sculpt is pretty damn detailed. The paint is really simple. It just seems like they have an overspray of lighter brown in certain areas. Some of the fins were a little warped, but I went ahead and heated them up, and they don't really need to be straight anyway, so I'm totally okay with that. Like I said, you get a little bit of that brownish gray. Man, that's so annoying. I don't have a toe, but it's all right. His feet, the bottom, you can kind of see that gradation here a little bit more. It's not super it's pretty haphazardly applied, but the sculpt is really good on this. For $23, that's what this was. I'm not upset about this at all. The head sculpt looks pretty good. My jaw sometimes falls out a little bit and it's a little wonky, but it's not terrible. And if you leave it in certain positions, it looks better than others. So that looks fine. I don't really like that the paint isn't super even. I kind of wanted to put a really light dry brush of gray all over this, but I kind of don't feel like it. He comes with no accessories, but the original figure didn't either. But the original figure was also $120-some. This is $27. So if you're looking for a good -1 figure, I'd say that this is your game. So because fuck Super 7. Head goes up all the way, goes down, pivot side to side, and will rotate pretty good. Get a little bit of movement at the base of the neck here. Shoulders go outwards, inwards. They'll both rotate around. This one, I just have to be a little careful with that one. You get a bicep double ball joint that'll rotate and kind of move it around. And you get single jointed elbows. Maybe, they're double jointed, but they don't really do much. And then wrists are on ball pegs. And whatnot. The jaw does open and close. Like I said, it's not super good. You get a diaphragm joint, which allows them to crunch a surprising amount. I was not expecting that. It's kind of ugly, but from certain poses, that's pretty cool. I like that. I was not expecting that. The ball joints work really nice in here. We'll also let them pivot pretty good too. Look at that. That's pretty awesome. This is a floating piece here. I think it's great. When you make Godzilla figures, you just have to make them a bunch of ball pegs. Hips go outwards this far. That's the furthest I've seen in a Godzilla figure. They'll rotate all around. The knees aren't really going to do much, but actually, that's not bad for a Godzilla figure. And they'll also rotate. And then the ball pegs are on the ankles, and then each of the toes are articulated, hence why I'm missing one. They're just on ball pegs. And then the tail moves surprisingly well, too. The tail, if you do your joints right, you can get it to curve all the way, almost in the logo. That is super cool. They will pop out at certain points, but you can, this one pops out the most. But there's a lot of joints here, and that's realistically a good amount. We'll pivot. If you... Let me see. I don't want it to pop out. But you can get him to almost touch his belly with his tail. That is super cool. Very well done. So again, this one pops out a lot. But again, this is a really well done figure, especially for the price point that it is. And it'd be perfect to me if I wasn't missing the toe. But again, if I pose him like this, no one's going to know. No one's going to know. So, yeah, I think that this is very well done and one of the best knockoffs I've gotten off of AliExpress. This So taking out Link, I gotta be honest. On first glance, it looks pretty decent. There's a lot to like here. But he's probably one of the lesser quality knockoffs that I've gotten. He's not bad at all. And for the $11-12 I paid for him, totally worth it. But definitely more of a, I don't want to say letdown, but just it can be a little frustrating. So taking a look at the paint and stuff, I think the paint and sculpt is pretty good. I think it looks nice for what it is. Paint is where it needs to be. They do use that transparent clear plastic for some of the joints, and it works like in the elbows, but definitely not in the shoulders. I don't know if that's how the original Figma was, but as you can already see, my biggest problem with this, and I hate this kind of shit, is when the ball, like the head of the peg, just doesn't fit in the ball joint. Like there's no reason for that. I hate that. That really, really frustrates me. Another weird problem with this figure is the metal pegs that they use to hold the hands in, the toes, on the like joint tend to fall out. I've actually had two hands that the little metal rod fell out and I lost the thing. You can kind of see it coming out of the toes here. Really odd thing. But other than that, I mean, it is pretty good. Like, still, again, keep in mind, it's $12. The only problem that I have otherwise is my neck joint comes off a lot, like from the peg. I might just glue it because it really doesn't add that much movement anyway. See that? Like, I might glue it just to keep it on. I don't know. I mean, it stays on and it doesn't like just directly fall off, but the head's pretty loose, so maybe gluing it would kind of help a little bit. It's like that little peg in there doesn't really provide a lot of movement anyway, so maybe I don't even really need it, but he does stand pretty good. I just couldn't get him. So he does come with a decent amount of accessories too, which I kind of wasn't expecting. You get a bunch of different hands. So you get a pair of open hands, get various pairs of grip hands. I like that they sculpt them to be like down. I kind of wish more companies did that, because then you can get all kinds of movement with it, and I think that's really nice. And then they have like regular grip hands, but like I said, like these metal pegs just keep coming out and kind of ruining all the hands. And then you do get a set of relaxed hands as well, as you can see here. And then you do get an interchangeable face and hair plate. So they're separate pieces, but I guess this hair is a little bit longer on the sideburns, and it's a screaming head. Not bad, looks pretty good. And then you get, let's do the sword. You get his sword, pretty iconic for Link. Again, I'm not a huge Legend of Zelda fan. He's just more of an iconic character for me. But this looks pretty good, actually. It's nice, firm plastic, not that cheap shit that Hasbro uses, so I like that. You get the shield. This feels pretty cheap, I'll say that. It feels hollow, but it looks good, so whoops. And it's not flimsy. I'd rather it be hollow than flimsy, but shield looks good. And then you do get an effect part for the sword, which is pretty cool. You can kind of just, wrong way, kind of just slide it through. You gotta like line all the Johns up, but once you get it in there, that's pretty cool. I like that. So pretty good accessories. And they all look and work pretty good. Now, obviously, with these kinds of figures, the most annoying things typically tend to be the articulation. So the head is only going to look up that much, look down, and pivot side to side, and then it will rotate. But again, I kind of have problems with the hinge in there. The shoulder goes up that far. It'll rotate 360. Not a bicep swivel, but it'll rotate at the elbow. This just, I'm not even moving that joint, it's coming off. I would be careful with that, because this can happen, and I can kind of see that like becoming an issue of like either stripping the peg on it, or like me right now not being able to get it back on. But yeah, just if you rotate it, hold it at the peg, and then all the wrist swivel and hinge, which is nice. Diaphragm joint essentially does nothing. It's really, I just want it there for the rotation, because going forward and back, it really doesn't do anything, which would make me want to glue it. I I don't know. I actually might glue it because you do get like a ball peg down there too. Hips go outwards that far. Go down. Goes forward, back. Not so much. Upper thigh swivel. They were stuck when I first got it, but then I got it fixed. And then single jointed knee, that moves pretty good. The legs are actually pretty good on this guy. Go down, up, roll. Ooh, that was close. They will rotate, but I would be careful. Do get a peg or a ankle rocker and the toe hinge. So yeah, it's okay. It gets a little frustrating here and there. I'm probably going to glue that joint up top just because that really does piss me off that keeps falling off. But other than that, it's a pretty solid knockoff. Next, let's take a look at the Terracotta Soldier figure. I'm pretty excited for this. I hope they keep making these knockoffs. We just got Edward of Monk's The Scream from the last time I did this, and I saw that they put up the Terracotta Soldier. So can't really read any of this. This is the box that it came in. I really like seeing all these pieces of artwork. I hope they keep making more. So without further ado, I'm very excited. Let's go ahead and open this guy up. So getting the Terracotta Soldier out of the packaging, I definitely like a lot of this that's going on. There is a couple things that I'm not too fond of, but for the most part, I think they did a really good job of capturing what this Figma was. Taking a look at the head sculpt here, I think this is the alternate head. They're very similar. This one just has a little bit more wide open eyes than the other one. Different face structure, but like ultimately they're very similar. But a lot of the Terracotta Soldiers have just had slight variations. A fun fact for you all, each one of them was individually sculpted to have like their own armor and their own faces. And the legend of the Terracotta Soldiers is so awesome. I think it would make for an awesome horror movie, but I really like the paint effect that they have on here. The joints kind of take me away from it, but the original Figma was like that. These armor plates on the shoulder pad move. Mine kind of don't on this side, and I don't want to test it. I think the only problem is this skirt piece is very hard, and there's no cut in it. So he can't really move his legs too much. And that is probably one of the ugliest joints I have ever seen. The goal is that these are supposed to pop out at the top of the joint, not the bottom of the joint, so more proximal to the body rather than the distal end of it, but for one of the accessories, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But unfortunately, mine does not want to do that, and I don't really care that enough about the effect to risk breaking it. But yeah, I think they really got that muddy clay look down pretty good. I'd like to see it next to the original one to see how they did it, but I really do enjoy this. But yeah, I think they did a good job. He does come with he is a little loose though, however, especially at the legs. He doesn't really have a problem standing for the most part, but he definitely has some loose joints. So in terms of hands, he does come with a bevy of them, which is pretty nice. He's going to have just all these little hands you see here, gripping hand, flat hands, more C-cup grip hands, flat hands, trigger fingers, which is nice. So a bunch of little hands. I do have one of the grip hands on the sword that he comes with. Little warped. It's like not soft neither, so definitely like heat it up, reshape it, and cool it down, and it definitely should work. Like that's pretty good. I just don't really like this design for a sword. He does have his alternate. Oh, he has two alternate faces. I didn't even realize that. Like you can see, they're all slightly different from each other. I didn't even realize he had three. That is pretty cool. I really like that. So I think I like this one the best. I don't know. They're all pretty similar. And they'd look a lot more different if they weren't like just painted in mud. Then you have the crossbow here, which is, it's okay. A little warped too, but it's all right. And then you have this alternate piece that, again, you're supposed to pop out the legs, pop them in here to have them like kneeling and, you know, like, I guess like with a sword. That's pretty cool, but I can get the diaphragm joint off, but I can't get the legs out, and I don't want to risk it. So I took a silly picture with it. Go check that out on my Instagram. And then finally, he does come with the figure stand. So did the Link. I don't know if I put Link before him or after him, but Link comes with a figure stand as well. Link's was fine. His is really loose. Like, it will definitely not hold the weight of the action figure. I would definitely need to screw that up. So, yeah, whatever. In terms of articulation, which I was pretty interested in, the head goes... Ooh. Whoops. Well, you can see what it is now. Make sure that's all nice and tight. It's like a weird... I hate these kinds of joints, I'm going to be honest with you. Not a big fan of that joint style, but it works all right here. It's a little loose, but it gets the job done. Shoulders go up that far, they go down, they rotate 360. Single jointed elbow, that will rotate a little bit, but whatever. And then wrist swivel and hinge. The diaphragm joint goes back and forward and will kind of rotate, and then you get more of a rotation down here. So overall, I'd say it's not bad. Ooh. Gosh. Great. Now you gotta go through the whole process of lining up the ball. I don't know. I'll do that off camera. The hips only go outwards that far. They can't even hold their own weight. Single jointed elbows. It does tend to fall apart. I think for a Terracotta Soldier, I may give it somewhat of an excuse, to be completely honest. Maybe I'm justifying something I shouldn't, but he is thousands of years old. And then the ankles go down and not really up, but they will pivot a little bit. So let me plug this in. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. It definitely looks better than it moves. The articulation's not bad, but it's just a little, it's loose. And, you know, I kind of always expect that going into these figures because of the nature of them, but I still am enjoying this, and I hope they make the rest of the art figures from Figma. Finally, let's take a look at these Figma, my Attack on Titan figures. We got Levi and Mikasa. I'm pretty excited for these. I got a good custom idea. I think they look good. We'll see. I wish they had Armin, though. That's very upsetting that there's not an Armin. I'd have to buy the actual one. And Anthony doesn't want to do that. So let's see what we can get with these guys. So we're going to take a look at both of them pretty much together because they do share a lot of parts. They basically come with the same accessories. There's just a couple key differences here. So first off, I do believe they have the same legs. And then they just have a different upper torso. And different heads, obviously. And different jackets to fit those upper torsos. Mikasa looks a little weird. I don't know. Not a big fan of that. I do like the head sculpt on her. She has more of a lighter jacket than Levi. Looks pretty decent. The scarf, I think, is a little dull. I always picture that being a little bit more bright. You get to see the knees, and the paint's not super clean on the straps. The legs, it looks okay. This upper torso is pretty loose. It looks all right. As far as Levi is concerned, he looks good too. He's got that like ascot thing that he has. They kind of have like the same hips, which I don't know how I feel about that, but I really can't complain with what I'm going to do. The head sculpt on him looks pretty good. I think I would have liked a better angry face. We'll talk about that more with the accessories, but these joints, other than the diaphragms for some reason on both of them, are pretty tight. It's not bad, so I like that. Now, the reason I kind of ran through those really quickly is because there is a lot to talk about in terms of accessories. So they're both going to come with the same things. So whenever I'm showing for Levi, Mikasa has the same thing. So you have the like, I don't know, cloak thing. This looks great. I kind of want one of those. You get two effect parts. Get this like blasting off one that plugs into the ODM gear, and this little one, which I kind of don't know what this is for, to be honest with you. And then for the sake of not making this video like 8 years long, I probably won't find out. You get the figure stand with it. It is a little bit tighter on this guy, which is nice. So the idea is to plug this in here and have him like blasting off to go fight Zeke. I don't know what that is. That's probably from something else. He does come with a bevy of hands. They both come with the same hands. You get this hand tree as well, but they don't stay on the hand tree, so it's all but pretty useless. So you get all these hands you see here, along with an additional set of gripping hands and the fist hands that they have on in the packaging. They also provide you with an extra joint, which is really nice. I wish that all of them did that. All these knockoffs did that. Here are Levi's 2 faceplates. Yeah, they don't really do much for me. And then you get 2 of the stakes, the spears. They look good. They're soft, but it's like weird. It's soft, but they don't like bend, if that makes sense. So I like the way that they look. You get this rope here, not bendy. I'm not untying this. And this rope here. So you can do all your ODM gear stuff. And speaking of said ODM gear, here it is. And this stuff is always complicated, but it is complicated in the show, so I can't fault Figma for that. The Jazzwares one was the same way. Goes on like that. Plugs into the side here. I'm going to be salvaging one of these to throw on my custom action figure. It was like the last thing I needed on my custom. But this paint looks pretty good. I do really like the way that it turned out for the ODM gear. You get these like plastic tubers, and the swords look nice. So these plug in, and it's kind of weird. I don't know if I can get that up on camera, but like when I plugged in, it like broke, like it wasn't the right size, which is really weird. And like I said, Mikasa comes with everything that Levi came with, except here are her 2 alternate face plates. She comes with these. Maybe they'll look better on the face, but I don't really like them neither. And she comes with an interchangeable ascot piece in case if you don't want her with the scarf. But why would you not want her with the scarf? That's like a key part of her character. Now, in terms of articulation, they are going to have the same articulation. Since we showed Levi's accessories, we'll show Mikasa's articulation. So it goes up and down. Not great. The faceplate's kind of messed that up a little bit. Shoulder goes up that far. It'll go down. It'll kind of rotate. It'll rotate. Just be careful. Single jointed elbows that swivel, and then there's swivel and hinge. Diaphragm joint is loose as shit, but it really doesn't do anything other than swivel. So that's kind of annoying. The hips, they got a surprising amount. Maybe because there's a cut on that. Is there? I think they're supposed to be on this side too. Yeah. Said to open that up. Pause. My bad. And then the thigh swivels. Single jointed knee. I hate this. Like, that is gross. Don't like that. And then the ankle goes up, down, rotate, pivot, and a toe hinge. There you go. But as I've kind of been hinting, I have a custom idea for these guys. So let me go ahead and show that. So this Jazzwares Eren Yeager is kind of perfect, except he does not scale well with these guys at all. But my idea is to buy 2 more of these Eren Yeagers and pop the heads off of these guys and put them on this. And you're probably thinking that might work for Levi a little bit, but definitely not for Mikasa because, you know, she's a girl. But I would argue that these guys use almost all the same parts anyway, aside from the upper torso. So I'm going to do it. I'm probably going to paint that white for Levi. I'll probably paint it white for both of them, like his under chest on his. These heads are going to be a little small, but like not by that much to the point where it like annoys me. It's really hard to gauge because they have that weird joint. I don't know if I can get it off. Yeah, I did actually. Like, I don't hate that, you know? I don't hate that. So I'm definitely going to buy 2 more of these Eren Yeagers to do this custom because I don't know if we're ever going to get any more from Jazzwares. And if we do, then I'll sell these or something or, you know, whatever, do something else with them. But for now, these are really good. And I really like these aren't that good, but I really, really like this Jazzwares Eren Yeager. Man, I'm trying to get the head back in there. But I really, really like the Jazzwares Eren Yeager. So, especially with those Revoltech Attack on Titan figures coming, and this being my favorite anime, I'm going to go kind of hardcore on trying to make something good out of these. So, I will take this, trim this up, pop this on the back, probably of Levi. just to keep it different. And then I have this bright red scarf in my custom drawer that I'm going to put on Mikasa. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to get this going. I have these all glued on because, you know, if you go watch my review for this, if you haven't, it's probably in the top 10 of the year. It's a really, really good figure. But, you know, these are small. And I think Mikasa is going to work a little bit better with head size than Levi is. But I'm hoping that once I put like this on there and I can pose it away a little bit, you know, kind of have him like doing something like he's going to fight Zeke. By the way, Regal Tech, please make a Beast Titan. I beg you. I beg you to make a Beast Titan. But yeah, it should look pretty good when I have it all together. So, these videos always get me frustrated. But you might be wondering, yo, Ant, what are your final thoughts on these figures? And I gotta say, I am overall pretty happy with them, but they are not without their frustrations. As you can see, Levi didn't even make it to the rotating base due to him just falling apart and me getting mad and just kind of not having fun with that figure at all. Godzilla was an amazing surprise here. I think he is easily the best one out of all of them, and if it wasn't for that toe issue, I'd have no issues with him at all. He is fantastic for the price point of $23. I really like the Terracotta Soldier too, but he's not without his flaws, and definitely the worst figures out of this bunch are the Figma knockoffs of the Attack on Titan figures. Luckily, I bought them with the intention, I don't even care, of the intention of customizing them, and what I want to customize them for, it will be good enough. So with that being said, with all their various price points overall, I'm going to rate this video a 5 out of 10. Definitely some frustrating stuff here, but I mean, you might still find it worth it. Godzilla saves them a lot. So with that being said, I believe that's all I got for today. If you have not already, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Also be sure to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Letterboxd. I post a lot on all those apps, and I have a great time, so I'm sure you will too. But as always, let me know. You coppin'? See you guys next one. Peace. What goes on, guys? I wanted to hop on here again and thank you all for watching, and to let you know that if the following apps interest you, feel free to follow me on them, as I put the links in the description for you guys. I really appreciate everything you all do for me, so DM me with any questions or thoughts. I'd love to sit and talk with you all. Again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.